I've been gone for a couple of weeks, just clicking on this so I can double check on my other screen that everything's as it should be. And I had some back surgery done and I'm good to go now. Here I am. So I'm going to take it a little easy this week. So I'm going to go with a couple of more simple cards because I do stand when I craft and I want to make sure that nothing goes wrong while I'm crafting with you. So I'm just going to check over here and make sure that I am showing up everywhere that I'm expecting to show up. I am. Yay! So, let's see, what can I tell you? So much is happening right now. And I'm really behind the 8 ball for having been gone this last couple of weeks. There's the typical joining special with Stampin. Oh, let me reintroduce myself. I am Teah Woodward. I am Stamp with Teah. I'm located in Vancouver, Washington in the United States, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And I've been with Stampin' Up since August of 2019. So I'm just coming up on my 3-year anniversary. And this has been a blast. I've had so much fun. I can't imagine not doing this. This was definitely meant for me to do. So, and I absolutely love sharing everything that I learn about and or am inspired about with all of you. So thank you for joining me today. Today I am going to make a couple of cards using Botanical Layers. It's a very simple card. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I just had back surgery and I need to be just a little bit cautious and not go full bore this first week, but by next week I should be absolutely good to go. So we have a joining special. It's the regular $125 worth of product. You pick whatever you want. You get it for $99. Free shipping, and right now there's a planner that comes with it, which I do not have sitting within my grasp. And it's a really detailed planner, so check out my Facebook page or my blog page and you can see more details about that. Let's see what else is going on. Celebration is going on through the end of this month. It's only through the end of August and then it's gone. So there's a couple of items that are already gone from the freebies. My gosh, I don't even have that sitting next to me. It tells you in 2 weeks I got out of practice. But with qualifying purchases, you get, there's some stamp sets or there's some dies for you to pick from. It's in increments of $50, so there's some items that fall into a $50 category and there's some items that fall into a $100 category. If any of that is confusing or you don't find what you're looking for on my Facebook page, Instagram page, or my Stampin' Up! Business page or my blog, sorry, please reach out to me. I'm stampwithteah, one word, @gmail.com. I will gladly help you. All right? Thank you. I am going to, because I do want to keep this a little bit shorter, I am going to turn the camera down. So today what I'm going to share with you is a masking technique for a very simple and clean card. It's very lovely and, or I think it's lovely. So I can't wait to share it with you. When I turn the camera down, I am going to share with you, yesterday was my birthday and one of my avid crafting ladies gave me a card, brought me a card and flowers yesterday, and I want to share it with you because it's really kind of special how she presented it to me. It's different than what I've done before, and so not everything on this card is Stampin' Up. I am showing you the inspiration. All right, so let me turn the camera down, and here we go. I think. There we go. And let's get this straightened out. Ta-da! So this is the stamp set I'm going to be using today. I'm going to set that aside for just a minute while I show you this really special birthday card that I got. And I am going to just double check on my computer, make sure the sound has been muted. Just no, it wasn't. Ooh, good thing I checked. Now it's muted. All right. So like I said, yesterday was my birthday, and Lonnie, very, very sweet, special lady to me that I met through church, she brought me some flowers and this card. And so I just love how she presented it. It came with this ribbon, and you untie, and then instead of the envelope being all glued down, you open it up. And isn't that kind of cool? Now this is, oops, I've got that upside down. I just thought it was lovely. This is a retired Stampin' Up! Stamp set, and this is, I can't remember where she said she got that from. Maybe Hobby Lobby, I don't remember. But I just thought this was a beautiful, beautiful presentation, and the colors were just gorgeous. So I wanted to share that with you. If I were you, I would expect Teah to be sharing something with you in the near future that is like unwrapping a present, just like this. All right, I'm going to set that aside. So back to this. So this is Botanical Layers. Let's see, looking through my camera lens, what all can we see? All right. I have paired that with the layering circle dies. And this is the first card that I'm going to show you how to make. Super simple, very clean, very elegant actually. All right, so that's the first one we're going to make. The second card that we're going to make is a stepped up version. Actually, no, excuse me. Let me take that back. It's this one that's a stepped up version, and then this one was a stepped up version of that. So I'm going to be making these two cards today, and we're going to get started now. So let me move aside a few items. So our card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 5 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that now. So I'm happy to report that my back surgery looks like it was a complete and total success. And I don't think I could be more pleased at all. I am so excited. All right, I'm going to start by laying down my card front. So I've got a card front that's going to sit on top of my card base. This card front, so this card base folded is 4 1/4 by 5.5. This card front is 4 by 5 1/4. I am going to tape that down. I'm using Post-it tape. So it's just like a Post-it note. It's sticky, but it's not permanent, won't hurt anything. Just going to hit these corners like such. And then I am going to line up. Have you seen this? You can get Post-it tape right on a roll. It's pretty cool. I am going to line this up with my template, or with my card base underneath. And just tape down a couple corners. I'm going to use my blending brush, and I'm bringing in soft seafoam. Now I'm going to have to be careful because after I made this card, I actually re-inked my ink pad, so I don't want to get my ink too strong. So I'm going to test it over here. There we go. And I am going to, let's see, a little bit of fuzzy. I'm going to start on the outer edge of my cardstock template, and I'm going to come in. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And let's see, what can I tell you about? My husband and I, we have a hobby of boat racing. And we are in the middle of lots of races going on right now. And last week, a week ago, I went to one right after my back surgery, and we realized it was way too much and not something that I should have done. So the boat race that was this last weekend, yesterday and the day before, I did not go. Uh-oh, I got a little bit strong right there. See, I was worried about that. I can flip my cardstock over if I don't feel like it blends in well. Actually, I'm going to be stamping this darker green, so it might not show. I'll give it a shot. Anyway, I should stay circular and not do it in strokes. Anyway, my husband went to the boat race yesterday and the day before, but I stayed home because we felt like the week before I had overdone it, and we waited way too long for this surgery, so. All right. So I'm going to just lift up. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? So I left it light in the center. I made it darker around the edges. Set that to one side. I can close, well, actually, I'm going to leave that open for just a minute. My soft seafoam. Okay, I'm going to open up Garden Green. Put away my blending brush for a minute. And with the Garden Green, I'm going to ink up, I'm going to ink up this image here. And it looks like I have a good amount of ink on there. And I'm okay with some of it going outside of the circle. I just love what that looks like. Then I'm going to take, so with this botanical, there are 3 sentiments, there are 10 dies, so that means that there are 7 botanical dies. So we have the 4 big ones that you see, and then there are 3 smaller ones. And for this one, I'm using this very smallest, and I'm going to go in with soft seafoam, and I am going to add like little flowerets. You can see that on this stepped up version that I did that. So that's what I'm going to do. I didn't do it on my original simple version. And again, I've got to be careful. Because this is inky inky. So I'm going to put one on the end of each. And then going to kind of nestle it in the greenery. And it doesn't need to be perfect. See, it just kind of fills it out just in a very subtle fashion. All right. Then I'm going to close up my soft seafoam for a minute. I'll use that again on the next card. I'm going to take my sentiment and ink up with the Garden Green. And on this one, on my sample, I had it all the way down here, but I think I'm actually going to move it up here closer to the circle. And there we go. All right. Then I am going to take this off of here. Oh, that's right, I am going to use the soft seafoam again. I'm going to do just a little bit of stamping that will go on the inside of the card. So this is the liner that I'm putting on the inside of the card. Bring out my soft seafoam again. And instead of using the circles, I'm just going to grab some ink. Make sure that was soft seafoam, it is. Start off the edge, and I'm just going to bring a little halo of color off to one side here. Doesn't need to be much. So just like that, pretty subtle. But if I bring it up, perhaps you can see just a little bit of color right there. Then I am going to bring back over my garden green. I'm going to use the same Botanical stamp, but I'm not going to use the whole stamp. I'm just going to use one edge. So I'm just going to do that. If I'd have been smarter, I would have just inked up this one frond. You know what? I can be smart. I can just flip this over and do it again. I need to be a good example. So I'm just going to come in with that soft seafoam again, creating just a little halo of color. Looking in, oh, I see that I'm sitting kind of low in the screen there. Okay, this one I got it a little bit darker. All right. This time I am going to wipe off my stamp. So it's all clean. And then I'm going to come in with my stamp pad. And you know, I kind of think I would like it if I used 2 of those and not just 1. And I'm going to apply ink on just those. And I like what that looks like. So I am going to, there. I think that looks nice. I might add just a little bit more soft seafoam behind there, which is easy to do. This, again, this is the liner for the message that goes on the inside of the card. Soft seafoam, knock off just that little brushy cut little bit there. And I'm just going to expand that color. There we go, just about, that's just about enough already. There. All right, now I'm ready to assemble this card. I'm going to close up my ink pads, even though I'm going to use them again. But I am definitely somebody that finds a way to lay my things right on an open ink pad. So there's how I take care of that. Set that to one side, set the stamps aside. All right, we have our card base again. I'm going to use multi-purpose adhesive. See, that's, no one's going to see that I made that other mistake because I'm just going to hide it. Yay for 2 sides to the paper. I like to add a liner to the in. Oh my goodness. What happened? Something happened there. Hold on just a minute. Excuse me. Okay, what happened there? I can't find. I must not have finished trimming this one down. Well, that's disappointing. Let's see, is it the exact same size or is it bigger? Okay, it's the same size, so I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it because I already have adhesive on it. Normally, I make it the same size as what I'm making the card front. But that's going to work fine. And you'll see me do it correct on the next card. That's embarrassing. Okay, so now I'm going to add some dimensionals. Does that ever happen to you and you're just like, wait a minute? I was expecting this to go just a little bit rough because 2 weeks is a long time to not be presenting or demonstrating. You're going to use my Take Your Pick tool to remove the backers from the dimensionals. All right. Now, I'm going to apply this to the front of the card. I really hope. Oh man, this one didn't get cut down either. Now I'm questioning the size of my That's the problem. My card base is the wrong size. My card front and my card inner were the correct size. Let's see if this one is the right size. Okay, so I can totally fix this. This one is the correct size. So I am going to burnish this, and I have a spare. Let me check my spare. This was for my other card. All right, that's what I did wrong, is one of them got cut at the wrong dimension. All right, let's burnish this real quick. I am actually going to go ahead and redo that liner because it's easy to do. But I'm going to go ahead and apply my card front first. That was weird. There we go. So there's the card front. I will add a bow and gems in just a minute. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Okay, let me get a new piece for the liner. And of course I had a table in front of it. All right, new piece of cardstock. I have my paper trimmer right next to me. All right, should be 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just gonna double check it before I do the restamping, and it's correct. All right, let me get rid of this other one so that doesn't happen again. Quickly going to reapply my little halo of soft seafoam in the left-hand bottom corner. And then I will stamp. I think that's very nice. It just makes it so much more special when you open up a card and it's beautiful on the inside too. Back to the garden green again. And again, I'm just going to ink up those two greenery. I want to call them fronds, but I'm not sure I'm using the right word. I think that's actually better than the first time, so I'm going to let myself be happy with that. Close this up, adhere this to the inside of this first card, put our bow and gems on it, and then we can move on to the second card, which is actually not much more difficult, even though it is a stepped up version. Well, thanks to anybody who hung with me through that little bit of an error. There we go. So there's our message liner on the inside. There is our front. I'm going to tie a bow with my bow maker. I'm using the soft seafoam. This one is called 100% nylon seam binding ribbon in soft seafoam. This is in the mini catalog that is current right now. I like it because it has a kind of see-through quality to it. Oh, don't drop it, don't drop, I dropped it. Let me try that again. If I wouldn't have cut it so short, I just don't like to wait. I already know that I'm going to cut off the tails on this, so I don't like to waste it, but it does make it harder if I don't have enough tail to grab. There we go. There we go. Look at that beautiful ribbon. I'm going to use a mini glue dot. And adhering that right to that center. And then center stem is what I meant to say and didn't finish saying. And then just cutting these pretty short, shorter than I normally do, but I didn't want to hide my sentiment. Then I'm going to bring in the Elegant Faceted Gems. And mine are messy because I have a tendency to color mine and use them on projects, but so there is not really a green in here. There's a white. There is a, I think they're calling this petal pink. It's a petal pink or blushing bride, one of the two, and then clear. I'm using the clear. Going to take the clay end of my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to put one of the large gems inside the circle here, and two, like that. And card number 1 is finished. Again, thank you for anyone who stuck with me through that little error that took place. Let me move this out of the way. So again, these are the Elegant Faceted Gems. And now we will move, so here is the first card, the sample card that I had made, and then here's the second card that I made. Let me know. So this one didn't have those little flowers on it. I added those, and then I moved up that sentiment closer to the circle. Let me know which one you like better. Okay, so next, we're going to make a stepped up version. We are going to make this version. And the dimensions are a little bit different. So we're going to start again with the 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that right now. Using my bone folder. Set that to one side. Okay, so my mat that is on the front is 3 3/4 by 5. I just lied to you. My card front is 3 3/4 by 5. The mat is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And it's the same dimensions for the inside of the card. There's a matte layer and then the message liner. So again, I am going to use some Post-it tape and adhere just a couple corners down. And in this case, I'm going to take, so here I had used cardstock and used my layering circle to cut out this circle. In this case, I'm going to actually use the circle that I cut out. I'm going to put that on here, and in order to get that to stick in place, I am going to take a piece of that Post-it tape, curl it back on itself, put that in the center, and place this where I want my circle. So I'm going to make sure I'm kind of centered from side to side. I think that looks about right. And then this time I'm going to be applying ink to the outer edge instead of to the inner circle. Pretty spiffy, huh? Now, I do want to show you, there is another way that this could be done, and it's actually how I did this one. We have a product called Stampin' Up! Masking Paper. And I took a piece of that masking paper and I created a template, just like I did with my cardstock. And I used, this is the actual circle that I used to create this card. And can you see how saturated that ink got? This has just got a different texture to it, and I just wasn't a big fan of that. So I'm choosing to show you this other method, but depending on what your application is, this might be the way you want to go. It just isn't what worked for me. It's a great product, and I've used it on other projects, but got to go with what you feel like. Now again, I've got to be careful because I re-inked that pad. So I'm going to start in the center and work my way out. Start in the center and work my way out. Starting in the center because I want to knock off the excessive dye. I want enough on there to color my circle, but I don't want to leave smudges. And it doesn't look, it looks like I'm coloring the circle, and it doesn't look like there's much of anything happening around the outside of the circle, but wait till I lift a corner and show you. And I don't want to go way out. I don't want to go to the edges of the paper. I just want to create this pretty little halo. Just a little bit more here. And then I'm going to test it. Test it by lifting the edges to see what it looks like. It looks like I'm going to need more right there. All right, so let's take a peek. Can you see that? Okay, so it looks like I need a little bit more right here. Looks like I need more right here and more right here. So being careful to not go out to the edges of the paper, because if I do, then I have to balance it, right? I guess I don't have to, but that's what my inclination would be. Okay. I am going to remove that. And there is my pretty circle. And I can leave this out because I know I'm going to do those little flowers. But my next stamp is going to be my big piece of greenery again. And isn't that gorgeous? So, so pretty. Scrubbing off my stamp and setting it aside. I will be using that again for my inner layer, but at the moment I'm going to come back in and fill in with my little flowers, just like I did on that first card. They're very subtle, which I'm perfectly happy with. It just adds just a little bit of fullness without going overboard. It felt so good to be back in the craft room. I've missed it. But it wasn't the proper environment for healing a back. Okay, I think I'm just going to add one more right there. And we are now done with the little flowers. I guess I could have added the little flowers to the liner on the inside, but I was happy with how it looked, so I didn't. So I'm going to lift this up. Our sentiment is not going to be stamped directly on this. We're going to put it on another piece of paper and put it up on dimensionals. That's part of what makes this a stepped up card versus a more simple stamping card. So I have a piece, just a leftover strip of cardstock here. I'm going to stamp my sentiment using this strip. I'm going to look through my camera and make sure you can still see what I'm doing. Yes, it looks like you can. I'm really getting a shadow from my ring light. Now, as you can see, I have plenty. That's fine. That is good and straight. So I am just going to take this, my paper trimmer is just here to the side, and I'm just going to snip off these edges. And there we go. Whoop, yeah, it's good enough. I'm just looking to see because it does, okay, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. All right. So now I'm gonna grab the paper for the liner that goes on the inside, since I still have all my inks out. And I'm gonna do just like I did on my last card. Gonna use the blending brush, gonna create a layer of color down here in the lower corner. So this was a rather simple masking technique. All right. Set that aside. Close up my soft seafoam. Bring back over the greenery. So again, I'm using the same greenery as I used on the front of the card. And I'm just inking up a couple of those, like I said earlier, I'm calling them fronds. I'm not sure that's the right name. Stems, that's the right name. Okay, I got just a little bit on the tip there. All right, I'm gonna come in, stamp that down. Ta-da! I hope you like how simple and quick these were, but they have such an impact, don't they? I think they're quite impressive looking. In their simple elegance, I guess you would call it. Okay, now we can assemble our card. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the liner. And since that first one was off, yeah, this is correct. Just using my multi-purpose adhesive to attach my liner to a matte layer. These are the same dimensions as the pieces that are on the front. So this liner is 3 3/4 by 5. The matte is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And turn that over and give that a nice little press. Nice little, can you see that frame? It's really subtle. I'm using soft seafoam for that matte. So sometimes in these, with a ring light, sometimes those soft colors don't show up very well. But I will be posting pictures afterwards. Up. And here we go. Kind of pretty. Kind of crooked. I think we can fix that though, because I use that multi-purpose adhesive. It gives me a little bit of time to wiggle it. There we go, until it's nice and straight. I'm going to give that a nice little soft press. Now, the piece that we stamped, I'm going to adhere that to this matte layer. Again, the exact same dimensions that I just gave you for the inside. The stamped image layer is 3 3/4 by 5, and the matte layer is 1/8 of an inch bigger. So it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Whoops. I will adhere these together. Let's see. I see a little raised edge. Sometimes that happens with a paper trimmer. Got that smoothed out with my fingernail. There we go. Going to turn this over and give this a nice little press. I don't need this paper anymore. My grid paper. That's nice. Okay. I am going to apply that to the front of my card using my dimensionals. I use a lot of dimensionals. That is my personal preference. You do you. Some people like less, some people like more. All right, gonna use my Take Your Pick tool to remove the dimensionals, the backs off of the dimensionals. And now apply this to the front of the card. I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals on the back of this sentiment. And I don't want to bring it in too far and break up that circle, but I don't want to put it out here in craziness either, because I really do want to kind of attach them a bit. Because I ended up cutting this side a little bit longer, or a little bit shorter, and this side a little bit longer from the edge of the sentiment, I'm probably going to move the bow over to the other side. So I'm kind of planning for that in my placement here. Going to tie another bow. Go ahead and give myself a little bit of extra tails so that I don't have to fuss with it like I did last time, even though I know I'm going to be cutting them off. This is a fairly slippery ribbon. Whoops, see? Let me try that again. This is a fairly slippery ribbon. So really the longer tails make sense, even if you know you're going to cut them off. And giving that a nice, good, secure knot in the center. And yeah, that'll look nice, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off those tails. Wait a minute. Whew. Did I? Yeah, no, I was second guessing myself here. That's usually when I make a mistake. There we go. Mini glue dot. Put that right on the corner, which puts it at the base of the flowers. Now let's put some more of these elegant faceted gems. I'm going to put one large over here and a couple of small. Over here. And my friends, we have just now completed our second card. Let me bring in the original. so that you can see the difference. So this was the original card that I made, and this is the second one. I actually like the second one better. Yeah, I prefer the ribbon up towards the center. And then, let me set that aside. Here's our first card. So this was my practice card, and then this was the card that I made live. And then one more card just to show, and this is a stepped up version of this card. So I've added the little flowers in here, same gems. I stepped up the sentiment on a strip. I banner cut them. I added the gem onto that, and they're applied with dimensionals, and then there's a layer of matte on here as well. So that's what the difference is between these two cards. But just to show you how you can take this very simple application and you can make it as pared down or as enhanced as you would like. My friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I will be updating my blog with all of the product information and the cutting instructions, not including the mistake that I made at the very beginning. And that link will be attached to this YouTube live post. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you all so much. Have a wonderful week, and I will be back on Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now I just have to figure out